So one of the problems that I ran into was really actually having too many volunteers. I know it seems a bit crazy, but during COVID, say, this is November, I'm looking back on a run sheet that I created back in November. I literally, there's 28 volunteers on my list of volunteers at the time, and that's on a Saturday morning, and I would run 3 lessons absolutely back to back. So when I talked about 45-minute sessions, they were 45 minutes long each, and there was no gap between them. In other words, I'd go 9 till 9:45, 9:45 till 10:30, 10:30 till 11:15. That allowed me to have really an extra bit of time. 11:15 till 12 was when I was doing training for volunteers, which meant that they would hang around after we'd done all the stuff, and we'd, like I said, debrief and then check out what needed to be improved on, so we could have, the horse training and volunteer training every week would be kind of quite real. It was very practical, and we were able to do a whole lot of really great stuff that way. So to coordinate all those people, though, obviously would be impossible on the day they arrived. So I used to, I'd set up a Messenger Facebook thread, a group chat that is, we could all communicate through, and people would ask questions or they'd want to know what was going on. And I ended up creating, and being a mortgage broker background, so I had Excel spreadsheets. I was very familiar with them. So I created an Excel spreadsheet, which is what this is, that would list all my volunteers. I could highlight who was coming in and who wasn't, because Saturdays typically it was quite a high rotation in that there'd be people going away, or this week I've got a wedding on, I can't do whatever, so there's always people stepping in and out. But, back then, this is like a list of 28 people that I had, and it grew actually from there as well. I got up to 36 at one point. It was like crazy. But anyway, so what I would do was run, create a run sheet at least the day before, but sometimes even Thursday night, I'd be working on it and get it refined by Friday, because most people would tell me what they were doing on the weekend, whether they're going to come in or not. So I was able to basically create a run sheet which said, what's happening at what time. So the date of the thing, the time that different parts would happen, and who was doing what. So there's a what was happening, which horse it involved, and who was doing it. And, so it would be like, there'd be a rider on a horse, the horse that they were matched with, and the kind of tack. So if it was unusual, like if I was going bareback instead of a saddle, I'd put that into here as well, into the notes. Who was bringing in which horse, moving them to different paddocks, so that they all got fed, they all got looked after and everything else. But we had to, we weren't using all the horses all the time. And rather than having the horses just standing around for, 2 hours sometimes before their lesson, I would have them in a close paddock, so that we'd have, the 3 horses perhaps waiting for the second session, and then I'd have a bunch of volunteers go out and get those horses and get them ready for the second session, while another group of volunteers was working in the arena with those riders that were there. That's the kind of thing that the run sheet made it much easier. I didn't have to tell anybody anything. I had the run sheet stuck up on the stall walls, a couple of places, and down at the arena as well, and there was a lesson plan. So this spreadsheet actually automatically updates a lesson plan as well. So it matches the rider with the horse, and then I just fill in the notes on what I'm doing for that kid, and then the volunteers would know that as well, because they get a copy of the run sheet, and then they get a copy of the lesson plan as well, like a PDF, and then I'd have hard copies available as well when they came in. So everybody would know what they were doing. I would turn up and do whatever I had to do, like set up the arena or whatever. Actually, most of the time they were setting up the arena, because I'd already told them to do that on the run sheet. I might be mixing feeds, or I might just be walking around and checking that the horses that I had planned to use that day were actually fit for work. Or I might go, you know what, I need to just see him lunge before I use him for this particular purpose. I need to see him walking or trotting or whatever it is. So I'd get the volunteer to get them ready and take them down to the arena. I might be down in the arena working a horse or checking it out before the lessons, but it would mean that I was quite free to basically check in with people, welcome them, touch base with new volunteers, check that everybody was using the same handling methods, maintain a bit of consistency between all of us. And if somebody was having problems, or there was a horse that came in with, a foot that they weren't worried, not sure about rather, or something they were worried about, I could help them sort that out. So the run sheet, I'm going to be putting a link into this video, and you'll be able to see, you can download it basically and use it. It's one of those things, though, if you don't know how to use Excel, you might get a bit stuck, but just message me and I can explain it, or we can talk and I can talk you through it, because it does work really well and it's a very easy way. I would just create a new run sheet each week, and that way I had a record of all my coaching sessions as well, because the lesson plans And then I put notes on after that, and it was all contained in a document that was electronic, and I saved it to my computer. So whenever we'd have an audit or whatever, I mean, I used to print them off as well, have a hard copy, of course, and have those in the folder. But, you know, it was all electronic as well. You know, it worked really well.